Hello again, Ian Stokey with Mastermind Games, back for more Malifaux. This will be the last Malifaux video I do for the foreseeable future. Order Initiates. So, now I'm probably going to take a break soon. Maybe after this video, maybe after the next segment of games I do, but regardless, Tanskin 09044. The Order Initiates are junior members of the Order of the Chimera, Marcus's organization, and they are practicing with giving themselves animalistic traits. So they each have a unique sculpt, so I will be having some, doing unique things on each one. So, tan skin again, 09044. So I'm going to do some wet on wet here, which means I need to work very quickly, using just enough water to thin the paint. Starting on the skin. These weren't too bad, although his nose, in the process of becoming a horn, was a separate piece, and the bird woman's hair, also a separate piece. Got a little annoying to get that on. And no, they're not, I know there's a bevy of anime involving monster girls right now, but none of these are Lamia or harpies or anything like that. They are simply humans giving themselves a more primal experience. And yes, as I paint this one, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles villain Rocksteady does come to mind. And I think I'm going to go about there with the tanned skin. Get my brush cleaned out. And take Cloudy Gray 09089. And get the pachyderm-like feet. Kind of blend up in the leg a little bit. Again, I do have to work fairly quickly here. One thing about pachyderm anatomy I learned forever ago. Technically, they walk on their toenails, and there's a big ball of fat-like material in their near the heel there, right there. And I'm going to put some of the gray on the hand going up to the arm, not as much as on the legs. It's more prominent. Maybe a little on the back, across the pecs, and back across the shoulders. That's not too bad. And dark skin 09041. Gonna give her dark skin and very bright parrot-like feathers and bird-like features, but this bottle is clogged, so paper clip to clear it. Actually check on my frame rate. Looks like I'm okay, kinda. Just to focus a little bit, I'll be better. Come on. There we go, good gravy. Alright. So, I'm gonna have to do second coats on some of the brighter parts here, the bird leg and the feathers, but I can do that off camera and should still be able to plan the way I want to. It's a little tricky here. This one was a pain to put together. And since she only has the one, this one connection point is fairly flimsy, so it makes me very, very nervous. I don't want her ankle snapping off, which it almost did once while assembling. Okay. Gotta paint a little thick on the face, just gonna use a little water to blot that out somewhat. And Fire Orange 09006. Sort of a macaw type parrot came to mind when I was thinking about how I wanted to paint her. So, although to be fair, I'm not sure what color of feet macaws technically have, but I'm keeping it brighter towards the bottom of the foot and letting it blend into that skin tone as I go up. Okay, and I'll have to probably do a second coat to get that as bright as I want, but for the feathers, thinking Fire Red 09004, that's going to be the bulk of it, and then I will do other colors after. This one's about tashed. I do have a spare on hand though, but still. Oh boy, that went flying right. Screw it, just move on. So I can still do the wet on wet. Yeah, as I do this, that thin connection point. Alright, I'm going to have to grip her by her skirt now because that connection point is really wiggling a lot as I do this. And that is not happy. Boy, this is going to be weird no matter how I do it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to give her a second coat of the orange and red to get this as bright as I would like with the black primer I used. Black primer is going to result in darker colors overall, making for a grittier look, which is definitely appropriate for Malifaux, but it's going to make it more difficult to do bright colors, necessitating either going over the model with white in areas to be affected or using multiple coats. So I'm going to let that dry for a bit and add the next off camera or next coats. Saying that in the most awkward way possible. Now, snake guy here. Olive skin 09221. Oh, okay, am I cool here? Am I? Okay. Alright, I'm going to come back in a minute. This is giving me some problems here. Well, that was messed up. I have no idea what happened there, but my system decided to throw up apparently. I was at least able to salvage most of that clip. Olive skin 09221. Just frustrations abound. And sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, you just gotta roll with it. So, okay. Again, I'm gonna get the flesh tone, the human flesh tone down first. And extend that into the serpent area. Got this a little wet, but actually given what I'm going for, that can work in my favor. I definitely wanted to, going into this, I wanted to give each of the initiates a different human skin tone. Showing, well, a diversity in backgrounds they may have come from. There's too much paint, not enough water. Okay. I'm gonna go with, okay, so I'll use leaf green 09011 on sort of the back and the bulk of the scales for the snake tail there. And I hear my computer making bad noise. It looks okay so far, so. And let this go part way up the back. Flanks here. Keeping the brush moist but really wet. Though mayhaps I should be keeping it a bit wetter than I normally would for the effect I'm going for. This basing is again some custom sculpting I do. Go ahead and put this on kind of the hands a little bit. Not going up the arm nearly as much as I did with the rhino. And then I'm going to take a little sun yellow 09008, which is almost cashed, but we're just going to kind of muscle through this here. So really, in order to do this right, we really need to. Okay, that might be enough. Just kind of muscling through here. Not something I prefer to do, but in this case, in order to do the blending I want, I've got to, uh-oh, and my brush runs away. Going a little bit on the base here. Definitely getting it on the underbelly. At least the portions that are available, they're visible. Just letting that blend into the green where it will. Use a little more of that olive skin in it. Next, I'll just mix a little yellow into that olive on the palette and see if that gives me what I kinda, not quite, but kinda. Works well enough, I suppose. So I'm gonna let that all dry up completely, apply a second coat to the bird woman, and when I come back, we'll start doing. Oh, good grief! So doing some clothing when I come back, but see if I can troubleshoot my system again in the meantime. All right, that turned out okay, just okay. Deep red 09002. Turned out okay. Not spectacular, just okay. That's fine. And I'm just going to get the interior of the mouth and tongue. And then pure black 09037. And get her hair. Boy. Yeah, I'm going to try doing it this way this time. Black hair is... I can do black armor pretty good. Black hair, I think I need some more work on. I may choose to go back in and pick out some of the strands, especially this flip up front, in different, brighter color to match the feathers. But I'll just think about that for now. Let this dry first. And I'm going to go with Woodstain Brown 09160 for this guy's hair, which is just about cashed. Alright, that'll do. Kind of got the same haircut as Keanu Reeves, I guess. It's pretty good. And now fur brown, which is an army painter substitute for oiled leather. And I wanted to do mostly earth tones on their clothing. So some rope-like accoutrements are going to be done in this. Okay, I'll apply that to the rest and move on when it's dry. Okay, Sun Yellow 09008. If I can get some paint out of here. I kind of get the second layer of feathers here. And I should only need to do one coat. Banshee Brown. This is an Army Painter substitute for Terran Khaki. Here is where it is going to get real tricky. And I just noticed I missed a cord on her ankle, which would be, which I would have wanted to do in the leather, so I'll have to go back in and touch that up, which, to be fair, I might have to do anyway. Get the underside of her skirt, I just want a nice solid coat on that. Not worried about the teeth hanging off her belts. That's going to get picked out later. After this all dries up. And the Army Painter does have a different consistency than the Reaper Master series I usually do. Never really got the hang of it. I was starting to switch over to Army Painter because the Reaper was unavailable locally. And then the pandemic hit. And since I was going to be stuck ordering online for everything anyway, I just went back to my preferred brand. Just need to be a little more cautious about keeping track of how much paint I have and ordering sooner rather than later when I start to run low. For the paint must flow. So yeah, I will go ahead and just touch up the belts of hers once I get this done. Let's do that off camera. Oh, good gravy. You know, I would ask if I can just catch one break this year with all this stuff, but the answer that's coming back is no. A resounding no. Just screw it. I'm just going to get the rest of this brown on here. This Banshee brown on here, this light tan. Then I'm just going to apply the rest, move on, and say screw it, because I am getting very frustrated with all of this. So, alright, I'm going to try a different one. Alright, back in a minute. Well, that last clip turned into hot garbage. This, I found, is the perfect mascot for this year. Smiling, happy cartoon dumpster fire. I found it on a place called Big Bad Toy Store. Thought the cheap metal pin was neat, and it also comes apparently in vinyl figure and nightlight, but I'm going to try that Banshee Brown again on another one and see if it plays nice this time. So we'll start with the underside of the kilt here. Which may or may not have been this torn up before he started going rock steady on us. Just good grief. Good bloody grief. One frustration after another. Okay. Apply that to, you know what? He's only got a little loincloth. So we'll just do this. Oh, and I'm forgetting. He's got these cords wrapped around his forearms. That's thick right there. And I missed a bit that should be in the leather, but I'm doing some touch-ups anyway, so I'm going to go back to Rhino guy because he's also got one of his arms bound up in all this. And that's how the bird lady turned out. So let that dry, do some touch-ups on the leather, and then move on. I'm almost done with base coats. Oh, good gravy. Little dumpster fire of a year, that's for sure. Alright, touch-ups are done. Leaf green 09011. And in retrospect, maybe I could have extended the yellow a little more. But you know what, I'm just going to do a red and yellow, red, and green, and that I think will do what I want to do here. So we'll just do it that way, and that'll be fine and dandy. After all, this isn't necessarily meant to resemble a realistic bird wing anyway in terms of coloration. It's just what I feel like doing here. Yeah, you know what, we'll just go ahead and do it this way. That'll be alright. That doesn't look half bad, actually. Being careful not to nick or dress while I'm doing this. Okay. A little more here, I guess. Okay. Now, where is it? Yellow bone 09143. If this decides to play nice, that should be enough. Okay. I'm switching to a smaller brush as well. Making sure not to get it. Get the talons. I want this moist but not overly wet. And then her anklet has a couple of bangs on it. Her belt has quite a few. I was worried. Okay, that should be alright. I was worried it's going to look too much like the khaki, but I think it's different enough. It should be alright, but boy, I am really rambling here. So let's just pick out this belt of bangs she has on. Okay. Alright, get the bangs on the rest, and then I can move on. Okay. Shield Brown 09161. Get some mud here, or some dirt. Yeah, mud, dirt, yeah. To be fair, I sculpted these bases at the same time I did all those gremlins I've been doing, so... just earth, pretty much. And if a little of this gets on the feet, that's fine. After all, dirt gets on your feet. But you generally don't walk across a paved road and get concrete on the bottom of your shoes. Alright. Apply that to the rest, and when it's all dry, I can start shading. Okay, time to shade. Stained Ivory 09142. Thinning this with 1 part water to 1 part paint into a wash. Need a smaller brush than that one. Just going over the ivory. Both tusks, teeth, claws, talismans is what I'll call these teeth around their clothing. Alright, apply to the rest, and I might be able to go a little bit more. Alright, next, Pure Black 09037. And with this, I'm going to shade the hair on both Rhino and Bird. Putting out 2-3 parts water, 1 part paint, because of how dark it is. Okay. Apply to the Bird Woman, let this dry up, and I can move on after that. Okay. One more I can do right now, and that's Pure Pine Green, 09010. Get the green feathers on her wings. This is plugged up, so go down the hole. I am experimenting on her hair. I'm not sure if this is going to work out or not, but we'll just see what I end up with. Okay, that bit will be plenty to do what I need to do. This is turning out to be one of the more elaborate color schemes I've done. Again, 1 part water, 1 part paint, and just... yeah, we'll do it this way. It's fine. Okay. Alright, let it all dry up. Come back when it's time. Okay. Oiled leather 09109. Yeah, we'll do it this way. Again, thin that out and just carefully go over the fur brown. And I'll apply that to the rest in a minute, but first I'm going to go ahead and take red brick 09001. which is clogged. There's the lid. Oh, we got a little, so a little bit of red brick. Clean that out. And just get in the mouse and tongue there. And apply that leather to the rest, and can do a little more before I let things dry. Alright. Marigold yellow, where is it? There it is. 09007 Marigold yellow. I can get some more of the feathers shaded here. Computer's making bad noises again. Okay. And I won't be shading the bird leg until I get to the skin tone, because again, I'm going to try to blend the shading in on the two. So, I'm going to go ahead and let this all dry up and move on. Okay. Blood Red 09003. Just about done with everything except for the skin tones. So, closing on the end here. Even with almost no pressure, that ankle seems to be wiggling quite a bit. So I was right to be kind of nervous about it, I suppose. And Khaki Shadow 09121. Yeah, it's going all over on the back. Let's just absorb a little bit of that with a brush that's dried out. So, okay. And thin out the Khaki Shadow here. Now this is going to be impossible for you to see, but I'm getting the underside of his skirt here. Being careful to avoid the legs, plural. Just being careful of where the wings are. Just getting the dress here. Being careful near the belt of fangs she has as well. Dab it in between right there. And the next step is going to get really tricky as I try to blend shadings, but I'll just see how it goes when I get there. No sense worrying about it until I get started, so. Okay. Pop that bubble, apply that to the rest of the clothing, and then when it's completely dry, I can give the skin tone shading a try. So back in a bit. Alright, Time to start shading skin tones now. Dark Shadow 09040. Now, this will be, excuse me, a little different. Oh boy. This will be a little different because I'm going to blend, or try to anyway, where the different animalistic portions meet the more human portions. So let's get that in there. Going all the way up. Okay, I need to switch brushes. That's not going to work for this. Being careful around the anklet. Don't want to get that with the skin tone. But overall, I am going as clear up as I can. Now, right here where the bird foot kind of begins. And Phoenix Red 09005. I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible so that the I get the wet on wet blending here. Now I'm going to start with the, it's a bit much, I'm going to start with the lower part actually. Get that done first. And it's coming out more red than orange, that's alright. Extra water and just try to it kind of works. Moving on to the next one. Tanned Shadow 09043. I think I might have gone a little excessive on the secondary gray here. But turn that out and I'm going to go over the entirety. Start up top. And then go below the belt. As I do this, I'm starting to scramble my speech here. Being careful around the leather bindings here. I don't want to get that with the flesh tone. Get the knuckles here on the left. Get it a little thinner as I go past the knees. And now taking a little bit of Stormy Gray 09008, making certain my camera's not doing something too stupid. Looks like we're not focusing like it should be. Come on. Come on. That kind of works, but... So, Stormy Gray 09088. Just dabbing that on the face a bit. Go ahead and get the feet with more pristine paint. I'll start working off the leg a little bit. I'm going to dab this on a somewhat patchwork manner. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Go on a long cloth. So that looks like when it's dry. I think I'm heading in the right direction. Now for snake. Olive Skin Shadow. 09220. Alright, it's acting up. I'm going to give this a minute. What? Okay. I guess the mere threat of pushing the stop button is enough to make it fly right again. Whatever. Just whatever. Go and move on. They used to say that there were two unavoidable things in life, death and taxes. I think there's four now. Death, taxes, paperwork, and technical difficulties. Get a little more water in this to get closer to the waist. Trying not to nick the claws with this. Now, doing something a little different on the reptilian parts. I don't know what I'm going to use. Well, you know what? Given the overall skin tone, I will use conventional shading. So pine green 09010. That bit on the fingers and hands. Give my brush clean when I get these parts where it's blending more. Okay. But I think I just said that the most awkward way imaginable again. That. Going all the way down. The tip of the tail and then going back up the abdomen with it. And Marigold Yellow 09007. Originally, I was kind of thinking about more of a rattlesnake type color scheme, but one, he doesn't have really a rattle at the end of his snake tail. Two, I was gonna kind of shade this with brown, and I realized just now as I was getting this step that would kind of blend too much in with his human skin and would not give the effect I wanted. However, I am letting it blend in with the green. should give us an interesting effect. Going up, I want to go up to his midriff here. And I did a bit on his face. Do a bit on the face as well. Just a bit. And we'll see how that works out when it's dry. So back in a bit. Alright, time to start shading skin. Alright, that blending turned out reasonably well. But now to finish up the shading with the basing, and that's Woodstain Brown 09160. That's dirt. Just dirt. That's a interesting sound. And just going over this whole thing. And there we go, that's it. Apply that to the other two. When I come back, I can highlight in detail and little bubble there. Pops a little bubble. Yeah, let that dry completely. And then when I come back, I can highlight in detail. So I gotta figure out the focus though. Alright, time to highlight in detail. Matte white. Gonna get some eyes first. Now the bird woman, her eyes look like they're closed, so I'm gonna leave them that way. Let the other two. Oh boy. Alright. And that happened. This is a light bit, you can see. Okay. Alright. Okay, chaos. Just chaos. So carefully fill in with the matte white there and here. Yeah, it looks like her eyes are closed, so we'll roll with that. Pure black 09037. Going back to the first one. Well, considering I cold cocked my camera, I'm surprised I've only dropped 11 frames for all that. Alright, so I'm using very little water here. Just dab in some pupils. Alright, now I'm switching over to a dry brushing technique. So, dark highlights 09042. Start on her to give the other two a chance to dry on those eyes. Just gonna do them all on camera here real quick. No water, straight paint only. I take a brush that is ragged and feathered, something along the lines of that. Rub most of my paint out on a paper towel if that's handy. And dust the area to be affected. I'm only going to focus on the most readily visible parts. So I'm going to get her foot, but not the leg inside the dress there. And a bit on the back. The bulk of the attention is going to be on her face. Alright. And Marigold yellow, where is it? 09007. I've used this as a shade a couple of times already. Now it's going to be the highlight on her bird foot. Yeah, that shaking is making me very nervous. She just has that one big little connection point there. Switch over to Rhino here. Tanned highlight 09045. Okay. My system's starting to act up a little bit. Unfortunately, with the space I have, the only configuration I can do in my studio is to have my computer and monitor behind me for this, which it's not the best for keeping an eye on things while I work. And I'm going to stop there with the tanned skin, tanned highlight there. And take Misty Gray 09090. It's a fairly bulky wide one here. Yeah, just kind of do selected highlights with it. Okay. I think how it's turning out. It's not too bad for a heavy experiment. Alright. Well, that thing just lost a bunch of frames in the blink of an eye. Blood red 09003. Something smaller this time. Just mostly get his tongue. I'm getting paranoid about this again. Olive skin highlight 09222. Which is clogged up, so paper clip down the hole. Technically nozzle I should be saying. So I'm going against raised areas, like all the muscles, to catch the paint better. And I'm not going to do additional highlights on the upper body, because I think the shading does that quite well. However, lemon yellow 09009. I will get the lower body. Not too much of this that I feel I need to do. And then pale green 09012. And actually, let's go back into that lemon yellow because I can get the yellow on her wings as well right now. Okay, going back here. Cleaning that brush out. Now pale green 09012. I almost want to call this guy Mr. Hissy Fit. Not that brush. This one. I'm refreshing the paint as needed. And her wings. I'm groping her by the body now because, again, that tiny connection point is making me real nervous. I don't want her legs snapping off as I do this. Alright. As long as I got her in my hand. Phoenix Red Zernos 5. Let's see. Okay. If I can get a grip on the brush I want to use. Get her feathers, the red feathers she's got. And I'm going to do an experiment and just see what this does on her hair. Well, it's interesting. It is interesting. So with that in mind, I'm going to take a little bit of that green too, that pale green. Just do the flip up here on that. As if the colors of her feathers are going into her hair. So kind of experiment there. And then, alright, Khaki Highlight 09123. This one's about shot, but I have a substitute on hand. Last time I ordered this, they sent me 2 of the base coats instead of 2 of the base coats in a shade in the set instead of one of each type. That's is what it is. I will deal with it. So, focusing on that which is readily visible. So, and that's it for her. The bindings on the arm here. And the visible areas of the loincloth. There's some really nice contrast right in there. And over here. wrappings there. And his kilt. Okay. And you know what? I am borrowing a page from the bird lady. I'm going to go to that Misty gray again and use that to highlight his hair. Get some of that pachyderm color into it. I mean, that doesn't look too bad. Alright. Okay. Had to think a second. Burnt orange, 09111. So I have changed my mind about my break. I'm going to actually do some Monster Apocalypse first, and then I'll take a break. Just because my brother's coming up for a visit, and he had an interest in it, so don't get to see him too often. Okay. Let's get the leather there. And I need to grip her by the wing here. I just really do not want to accidentally snap her off at the ankle. And over here. Armband. Ropes keeping his loincloth in place. More ropes. Well, rope necklaces around his neck. I see a bit here that I need to touch up with the pale green. Real quick. Just a quick dab right there. Okay. Now some teeth and fangs with creamy ivory, 09144. Clogged clip. Oh boy, this is really fighting me. I'm also on a time crunch because I'm doing my laundry while I work on this, and I only have 5 minutes left before I have to change loads. There we go. It's not a lot, but it's enough to do the job. Holy cow. Chaos. Just the existence of chaos. And I'm not talking about the 40k chaos gods either. I mean just actual unpredictable things that just pop up everywhere. Right. This is going to be more prominent on him because of those nice big toes. And of course the nice big, well, the horn, but it's not as prominent as his big toes are. Yeah, that's all for his charms. Alright, now here, claws, a little bit on the ankle, a little bit on the waist. That's just leaves. That just leaves. Driftwood Brown 09162. Get the pacing. Uh-oh, Nectar again. Well, when's the last time I'm going to be near with a paintbrush? It's that close. Okay. That's it for highlighting all that. Now, pure black again, 09037. Switching to a flat head, using just enough water to thin the paint, keeping the brush moist but not overly wet, just like with a base coat. Here's my favorite flat head. Now I'm just going to line the edge of the base, going up to but not over my custom sculpting there. Being real careful about any parts of the mold that come too close. Okay, apply that to the other two, let it dry completely, and there's one more step I can do on camera. So, back in a bit. And my system's acting up again. Good grief. Alright. Alright. Fine. Back in a bit. Alright, last step. Matte white again. And I'm just going to number the back of each base, which helps to make it perfectly clear what model is which in a game. And just real quick, numeral 1. And the chunk there, 2. And 3. And once that's all dry, I can take it outside and varnish it. Never want to do varnishing inside since it involves an aerosol spray can. But that is it. The Order Initiates from the Arcanists faction of Malifaux. This is going to be it for the foreseeable future for Malifaux, until I get more stuff for it. Switching to Monster Apocalypse next. Until then, I am Ian Stuckey with Mastermind Games, signing out.